Insight Brilliance, brought to you by H&H.
Hello and welcome to the latest edition of Insight Brilliance, the podcast from H&H. I'm Cathy Phillips, and today I'm being joined by Sam McNeill from SongDivision, where we're going to be talking all things music, creativity and generally having some fun. Hope you enjoy. Well, thanks for joining us today, Sam. I guess my first question for you is all around your first experiences with music. How did you get into music and where has that taken you?
Yeah, no worries. Thank you for having me, by the way. First experience, my first memory was 1992, school, end of year, performance. I would have been 7, and I for some reason I was singing Memory from Cats, and I don't know who taught it to me or if I was having lessons already, but I just remember there was a sense of everyone just stopped making noise, and the whole sort of hall was very silent. And then what felt like a day later, my mum got me an audition with St Andrew's Cathedral Choir in Sydney, which is probably Australia's #1 cathedral choir at the time. To join St Andrews at the school on a choral scholarship. Was fortunate enough to get that, and then had that all through school for the next 10 years. And then from there, Mum didn't stop. I was sort of already child ad actor, and she had me doing all kinds of things in front of. I was paying for the pool and that kind of thing at home. So was comfortable with the performing and loved it all. So then next step, she had me auditioning with Opera Australia and the children's chorus. I ended up doing 5 years with them, which was amazing. And then it all just kept going from there.
Oh, wow. So the singing side of things started at a very early age.
Yeah.
Now, I'm guessing by the fact that you've got a couple of props behind you that you actually are not just a talented singer, but you have some musical talent as well.
I can play guitar sing a song, write my own songs. I can play in a wine bar. I'm definitely not a guitarist.
Very specifically a wine bar, nowhere else.
A wine bar where I'm mostly background music and I can play whatever I want. I'm not I tell people I'm a classically trained singer that can play a tiny bit of guitar to get by. I'm definitely you don't book me as a guitarist, put it that way. But I do love my guitars. I bought that one in New York, and this is a newer baby that I got at Denmark Street in London. And I've got a slightly another acoustic over there that I might pull out later.
Fantastic! I look forward to that very much. So, tell me a little bit about SongDivision. How did you come across it? What's the story behind it?
For sure. So I was doing all that singing. I ended up getting into the Sydney Conservatorium of Music. I did a Bachelor of Music Studies majoring in classical voice. So sort of beginning the journey towards potentially becoming an opera singer. I got the degree, and I don't think I've did an opera since then. I'm not sure it was for me. A lot of hard work, a lot of discipline. But so I started a band, that's right, at university called Saving Grace, and it was a folk band, guitar, violin, cello, percussion, a bit of a crowded house sort of influence. And a close friend of my stepmother was friends with Andy and Marsha Sharp, who own SongDivision, and said, this guy's pretty good, you should come along to a gig. I was performing at the Basement, which is a very famous venue in Sydney. They came along, saw the show, and coincidentally that coming week, SongDivision, who at that point must have been, I'd say maybe 3 years old as a company, had a big job with Microsoft in Sydney. Basically, Microsoft doing a team building off-site day. Well, I say off-site, we were basically set up in the car park of their headquarters. So all the employees came in the morning of this strategy day, and the band was all set up. They just needed a few extra sets of hands. So I wasn't hosting or anything like that. I was setting up. I was facilitating some small group work. They asked if I was available. Obviously, I thought, that sounds very weird, but I'd love to at least see it and check it out. Anyway, did that session. Thought said this is an incredible concept. And at the time, I was fresh out of uni, working for my parents' paralegal firm. And I just said, any opportunities to get more involved, just keep in touch. I'd love I'll do anything, basically.
Except opera singing, obviously.
Except
you're not
opera
interested in
singing.
that.
Well,
Yeah.
it's funny you say that. This year I had the honour of singing Nessun Dorma at the Frankfurt Opera House as part of IMEX, which is a huge international trade show. So came full circle. Full circle. So I said, I'll do anything. And then over the next couple of years, Andy, the owner, had just moved to New York to set up a US office. And this was Lehman Brothers, big economic crash and all that kind of stuff. So he was over there trying to get the business going. The foot came off the pedal a bit in Australia. And over that next sort of 2 to 3 years, he said, I want to get the Australian office going again. So in that time, which we don't do anymore, but it was incredibly fun, we used to do hens parties. Was very fun. Me and a friend would show up at a hens party and we'd write a song about how the bride and groom met with the hens.
That could go one of two ways, couldn't it,
I
really?
know. Well, I always say they did enjoy it after they got over the disappointment that we weren't strippers. But to be honest, I think they would have been relieved by that anyway. So we'd write these songs. It was fun. We do 1 or 2 a weekend. SongDivision doesn't do that anymore, but it was a great way to cut my teeth because it was the same process that we do now. Coming up with chords, choosing a genre, getting them to write lyrics about what they love about the husband or whatever it is. And so really great way to cut my teeth. Then Andy said, like I said, I want to get the business going back in Australia. Would you be interested in taking on a 20-hour-a-week sales role? I said, I've never worked in sales in my life or in a corporate environment. And he sort of said, look, as long as you're passionate about what we're doing, which I was, clearly, he said, I'll teach you the rest. So that went on for a few years. I worked my way sort of up the Australian office, ended up being the creative director there. And almost exactly 10 years ago, on my 30th birthday, Andy called and said, what's your deal with England? I think I've heard that you have a British passport, which I did. My mum's from Northern Ireland, Carrickfergus. So he said, I want to open a UK office. Are you up for it? And I was ready for a new challenge. And that I moved over January 2016. So it'll be 10 years in January. And the whole rest is history thing.
So you touched a little bit on the process there as you applied it to your hen do's. Can you give us a little bit more of a flavour of, as a corporate client, what is the sort of thing that SongDivision does?
Specifically, what we do is group songwriting experiences for any group size anywhere in the world, designed to connect teams to each other and to the brand or the company, enrich organisational culture by building trust and showing vulnerability and all those beautiful things that happens when you're creating music in a group, and also reinforcing the key messages of the event, which is a big one. Obviously, clients come to us because they feel like their employees don't know their values. They've got, we do a lot of pharmaceutical work, so new asthma inhalers coming out and new drugs coming out, and we're helping them write songs about the benefits of that drug so that they can go and take that to the doctors and be, clear on that information. So, it's really music as a memory tool, music as a connecting tool, and music as a cultural enrichment tool.
I guess it's quite a challenge, isn't it? Do you find it's quite a challenge coming up with a snappy bunch of lyrics about a pharmaceutical drug? Or how do you go about creating those lyrics?
One of the beautiful things about what we do is we don't write the song. So I don't need to be every day, oh gosh, I'm tired or I'm distracted, I don't have any creative juices. We just facilitate, and we do it with amazing MCs and facilitators, and we also bring in musicians who tour and record with the biggest acts on the planet. So our London musicians, it's currently Rita Ora's drummer, Rag and Bone Man's backing vocalist, Spice Girls bass player, Michael Bublé's saxophonist. So they're all full-time touring and recording artists that come and that work with us. So, but we facilitate. We don't write. The group has to come up with everything. So, that's obviously met with a lot of trepidation at the start of the session. Oh God, get me out of this room. This is my worst nightmare. This sounds like everything to this sounds like an X Factor concert to. All the natural fears that people should have. Once we explain that, hey, we're going to do so much of the heavy lifting, all we need is your input along the way, it very quickly becomes very relaxed, and I'm very big on making sure that people don't feel, feel like I'm going to force them to do anything they don't want to do.
Yeah.
And then, like I said, because it's not about singing or being able to play an instrument, by the time we've come up with chords as a group, which is one moment we do get someone from the audience who can maybe play 2 chords on a guitar, we do bring them up on stage and get them to jam with our band, which is, again, an amazing experience for them and the employees seeing that happen naturally. Like, that's not a setup. It's not we don't put someone in the audience. We don't know on the day. Once we get to that bit, and then our musicians give them 4 or 5 genre options: punk, funk, heavy metal, whatever. People are like, okay, A, this is cool. B, this is quite easy. And C, I'm not in any danger of being embarrassed in front of anyone, which is what we will never do. And then the rest is, it just goes from there. So again, it's values. Let's say it's a values rollout. We will work with them. Tell me your favourite value. What does it mean to you in your own words? Which one do you align with most and why? And what we're trying to do is, let's say collaboration is a value. What does that mean in your own words? That means actively listening before I talk. That means being open to feedback, all those things. So we'll be taking a bunch of answers and keywords. So feedback, active listening, blah, 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 blah. We take as many words as we can, and then we basically we'll give each group of, let's say, 4 in the room, 4 or 5 people, their own keywords, and 10 minutes to create a 4-line poem, which sounds intimidating, but it's very, very, very simple. 4 lines between 5 of you, where they're floating if they need help. But it's collaboration is the key. Starts with you, starts with me. Boom, 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 boom. Something. We're all done. And again, we're not asking them to. It's not Shakespearean. We keep the. Trying to keep the music analogies in there. Simplicity is the key. Don't overthink it. You know what they say in Nashville, all you need is 3 chords and the truth. We keep it all very fun and light. But the lyrics they're writing, it's my favourite part, because then we will get someone from each group up on stage to read out their team's poem. And it's funny, it's insightful, it's beautiful, it's a feedback tool for the bosses to be like, wow, I hadn't realised that's what they think of that value, or that's the way they interpret it. So we're there as a feedback tool as well. And again, by that point, everyone's in. It's just like an interactive rock show, and they're loving it. And then, so we'll have written all these beautiful poems, and then we'll arrange it live in front of the audience. So we'll lead that, but we want their involvement in every step of the way. That's how you get engagement, and that's how you get pride over what's been created. If we just went up and say we wrote a song about your values, no one gives a crap. It's like, oh well, you're professional musicians, that makes sense. So the whole way we're getting their engagement. What do you think of this? What do you think of that? I will lead it. This is a great first verse. This is where we are and how we got here, and celebrating, and this is a chorus. It's powerful. It's simple, but it's powerful. It's repetitive, and that's what a chorus should be. Or these two are very similar. Which one do you like more? Or so again, just making sure that they're a part of every decision. And that point, one of our musicians will run off stage, take the handwritten lyrics that we've agreed on, type it up. I'll run a vocal warm-up with the group, and that can be everything from breathing exercises to a quick "We Will Rock You," just getting them comfortable making noise in front of each other. Normally I'll get them humming to warm their voices up, but I'll get them humming in 3 or 4 part harmonies, and it's so easy to get them to do it, but it's such a beautiful sound, and anyone can hum. And then normally we make sure there's a whoa, there's a catchy part of the song, so if people don't want to sing along, they can at least join in with the woes. And as soon as they're up on the screen, we'll run it once. The band will run it once and say join in once you're comfortable, and then it's right, everyone up on your feet. We're doing this once. It's never going to leave the room. Just, put your fears aside, and again, if you don't want to join in, it's all good. But by that point, people are in, and it's just, it's a beautiful moment. It still makes me feel really it's the idea that people create something from nothing, which is something I've done for my whole life, but seeing someone who's adamant that they don't have a creative bone in their body, and at the start is just full of fear and trepidation, to see that final bit, and even the people who don't want to join in and sing along will still come up and go, that was cool. And that was way cooler than some of the other forced fun we've been made to do over the years.
No, you've got to love a bit of forced fun, haven't you?
100%.
You mentioned that you have some people who kind of approach it with a bit of trepidation. I mean, I witnessed SongDivision in action at an IC Awards event earlier this year. I mean, there's no holding back IC people. You don't have any problem with them crafting lyrics or getting on stage or performing. But have you, what would you say your most challenging kind of audience to get involved?
It's a really good question, because those events where it's not internal, they can often be challenging because you don't have a company that all work together and know each other. You've got people, like, how many companies were there? I want to say 40 or something on the night. So they can be a little bit challenging, but again, that audience we're all, internal comms, HR, so they are passionate about company culture. So they got it. Funnily enough, the only time it really just didn't work, and this is going back, I'm going to say 12 years, was an evening event. It was a networking event for a famous shopping mall, one of the big shopping malls, and it was an event for the people who lease the spots inside the mall. So like your H&Ms and your Top Shops or whatever. So it was a thank you event for them, and then they were launching some new shopping malls that they obviously wanted them to invest in. And we just got the design wrong. We tried to do an afternoon team building at an evening networking event where people did not, it was more of a stop everything you're doing, we're going to write a song. And again, they weren't internal employees. So these were like heads of H&M, but they were like, no, we're not doing it. It was like longest 40 minutes of my life. We forced it out of them. We got some people to do it, and we got the song done. But that created a whole new offering, which is called the Rocking Reception, which is what we did at your event, at Inspiring Awards, where it's not like, hey, we're going to do this for 45 minutes. It's literally, right, guitarist, chords, see you later, QR code on the table. If you want to submit a lyric, you're welcome to. It's completely up to you. And then we did that beautiful thing where Matt had organised where some of the best lyrics we were giving them free bottles of champagne throughout the night. So there was a bit of an incentive there. And now that Rocking Reception is almost as popular as like the daytime team building we do, because it's hard to find good interactive entertainment at night. Yeah. But we do have to be careful of what's the context. Like telling everyone to sit down and do some homework at a boozy awards night, it's just not going to happen. No. So we learned that the hard way, but talking about, for failures and learning from them, that ended up being a massive mistake that led to a whole redesign of the experience. So I'm not lying. It doesn't not work. But now that we've got it right, some are more challenging than others, but I have not walked away since moving to England going, that was an absolute nightmare. It's normally like that went amazingly or that went good. It's sort of somewhere in there, as opposed to, that was a complete nightmare. Touch wood, gosh, now I'm scared.
Well, I think the fact that you had to cast your mind back 12 years to come up with a
that's the one that keeps me up at night.
It's your little, your little exam dream where you think you've not sat your exams.
Yeah. Well, the funny thing was, and if you're LinkedIn connected with me, please connect with me, everyone. My profile picture is me being kissed by Richard Branson on stage. And that event was a month before the Virgin job, and that was an outdoor networking barbecue that he was going to fly into on a helicopter, and we were going to perform this song that we'd written. And had that job with the shopping mall not been such a disaster, we ended up contacting Virgin and saying, we need to redesign this event. I'm feeling a bit embarrassed, because they were like, what do you mean? And then we said, if it's an outdoor barbecue, 1,500 people, we are going to struggle to get a song written in an hour before. So we ended up creating another experience whereby we wrote the song with the attendees of the month before as a campaign. So they knew it was happening. They'd submitted their lyrics. They knew we were going to perform it. As soon as we arrived, they knew what was going on. So again, that became another experience that absolutely, because if that had failed in front of Richard Branson, I think that would be, I'd still be crying about that.
One shopping mall's loss is Richard Branson's gain. I'm sure he's very appreciative of that, taking one for the team.
100%.
And I think it's interesting, isn't it, that part of the reason why this works so well is actually it's the kind of enduring power of music, isn't it? I mean, sadly, I can't remember much these days, but I can remember the lyrics of songs from the 80s, word for word. It has a way of kind of tapping into your brain and your memory, doesn't it? That
It
really
does.
kind of sits there.
We tell groups we're going to write songs, and once tell them not to worry, it's going to be fine. We do tap into the science very quickly, and the third piece, there's three sort of pieces around what's going on with the brain, and the third one is message retention and memory, and that's why we learn the alphabet to a melody when we're children. That's why the biggest companies and brands in the world have a jingle, or they have what's now called a sonic logo. It's not even a jingle. If you think of Netflix, it's just dum dum, and people just know Netflix. It's incredible. It's half a second sound, and that's Netflix. So, and then the first thing we do now is actually we ask everyone to turn to the person next to them and share their first ever concert experience, their first gig they went to, first festival, and almost everyone can answer that question. And can remember it very clearly. I can still remember mine was Billy Joel and Elton John at the Sydney Cricket Ground.
You didn't go in at the bottom, did you?
No. I was very lucky. My parents were pushing me, like I said, pushing me from a young age. So they're like, I was lucky. It was Bryan Adams, it was Sting, it was Billy Joel, Elton John. So but I remember those gigs super clearly. But like you said, I couldn't tell you what I had for dinner yesterday.
I think actually my first gig was Trevor and Simon's Swing Your Pants tour at the Margate Pavilion. So probably not, actually Margate Winter Gardens, not one that, is up there with the greats.
Okay. Well, what was your first, proper gig? Do you remember that?
My first proper gig was actually Glastonbury. That was the first gig that I went to.
That's a great answer.
So maybe I went in second. I was a slow developer, but I made up for Trevor and Simon with Glastonbury.
Okay, so quite a few acts then, I hope.
Yeah.
I imagine.
Yeah, so I bore my children with when I went to Glastonbury in 1990. This is who I saw.
I had my first Glastonbury experience a couple of months ago.
When I went, it was £30 a ticket. I'm thinking it probably wasn't this time.
It was close to 400, and then I opted for the off-site glamping. So yeah, it wasn't cheap, but I don't think I could have done the on-site thing. If I'm honest,
no,
too old.
I don't think I could do it now.
But yeah, that is, again, that's an experience, our music experience, I will never forget. It was unbelievable.
So alongside charming Richard Branson, what other sort of feedback do you get from your clients who experience the whole SongDivision magic?
I mean, can I use language on here or not? Probably not.
We can bleep you out.
We can bleep me out. I know. No. So people think that what we do would have to be with a cool young sales team. That's the toughest audience. Any consumer brand with employees that are a bit too cool for school and don't want to look silly in front of their colleagues is harder than. So we have a recurring program with. One of the big oil and gas energy companies that we do 3 or 4 times a year that everyone at the company has to work through as part of this operational safety week that they do. We're writing songs about operational safety in the workplace with 50-year-old white guys and maybe two girls in the whole thing. And that's, okay, we're going to write a song, and the you can hear the pin drop, and they're like, get me out of this room. This is my absolute worst nightmare. But also at the same time, they're not there to impress anyone. And a lot of them are big music fans or bedroom wannabe guitarists.
Yeah.
So again, we get them in, we start the process. Anyone play guitar? Great. Writing lyrics. And I've got videos of them saying, I thought that was going to be but it was actually awesome. So we get a lot of those where people go, at the start I thought this was going to be terrible. And that was by far, not there's anything wrong with it, but it beat, a scavenger hunt, or it beat running around a city. And so, the feedback is generally, really positive. And that's the bit I love, because it's like, we get this hero's journey of like, no. Oh, okay. Oh, who owes the royalties to the song?
Can we put it on LinkedIn?
We're going to be rich. Exactly. I can guarantee that's not happened. Obviously, it's usually sensitive information, so it's good in a way. It's quite nice. I say to them, hey, this really is not going to leave the room. Like, we're not trying to write an iTunes hit or a jingle. We're just going to keep it in the room. And it's like you said, music's universal, and it's the ultimate leveler. So from the CEO down to the receptionist or everywhere in between, we work really hard with the leaders, the senior leaders, to make sure that everyone on that during our experience is on the same level, no matter what the hierarchy of the company is. And we want the CEO in a group with the new intern talking about their first gig was Tony Bennett and her first gig was Lady Gaga. Oh, they've done an album together. And it's like, yeah, this creating this, hey, we are all on the same page in some way. So, yeah, it's... I've hosted other team building events for other companies before and they're great, but I've never seen anything that has everyone involved. There's no physical sort of issue. It's not like running around or abseiling. Everyone can have a role. Some people like singing at the end or getting up and singing, or I'll do a rap. Some people will tell you the lyrics are spelt wrong or that doesn't rhyme properly. Yeah, so no matter what level of introversion you are, there's something for you. We'll someone might just be the timekeeper, keeping us on time. Yeah. We might get a hype person it's super inclusive, and that's not. That's partly our process, but it's because music is inclusive.
Well, I have experienced it.
You've seen it, because we also did the 24-hour Inspiring Workplace virtual summit that they do. I'm not sure if were you on that. I know H&H sponsored that.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
That award ceremony. That's like I said. Sometimes they can be a bit. Oh gosh, people that don't know each other. That couldn't have gone better in my opinion. The song was great, and then we do the party set, and we have what we call impromptu karaoke. So every couple of songs. Hey, I'm doing Summer of '69.
It was certainly impromptu karaoke that night. There were people grabbing the mic off each other.
Grabbing the mic, grabbing it off me. One guy was topless. I thought, gosh, that's it.
Let's not go any further with that one. You said what stays in the room.
What stays? Yeah, it's a good point. Yeah, let's leave it at that.
And so you've worked with a lot of big corporate names. What's your dream? What is your dream SongDivision gig? Who would you love to work with, or what type of organisation do you think would be your kind of perfect?
That's a really great question. My dream job is, so we have an offering called a Song Slam. So instead of writing one song, we'll take a group of 300, let's say, and we'll break them into 3 teams of 100. They get their own band, they get an hour on their own, and then usually they then have a break at like 5 p.m. and then that night they're their own entertainment and we have like a battle of the bands.
Pitch perfect.
It's awesome.
Pitch perfect.
Exactly.
I am totally in for this.
Yeah, and that again, you've got everyone's started off trepidation, not sure, write their song, super excited, go off and get ready, have their drinks, have their main, have more drinks. By that point, they're ready to go.
They're ready.
We've written the best song of all time. Again, to the point that I refuse to be a judge now because people get angry if they don't win. But we did pitch this to Virgin. It never happened. But we talked about, let's do a global song slam. So each office, let's region, whatever it'll be, they'll write their own songs and they'll have like rounds. What do you call it? Like round 1, round 2, and then eventually from each region, or let's say the top 5 songs win, whatever it is, and the people in that group get flown to Necker Island, which is Branson's thing, for a music festival that they'll all perform at. But grab a couple of Virgin Record music, actual big stars, have Richard there, Sir Richard, I should say, as the final judge. And I just thought it'd be an incredible way to bring a global company together. Great PR for them. Great. Imagine the social media of people sharing it. They're, getting a chance to go there. So that would be fun because also we need musicians from all around the world as well. So I could get the global team involved. So that's something I've always daydreamed about. I don't know.
I was going to say, you've clearly given this one a lot of thought. So Richard, if you're listening,
I know
the idea is there.
The idea is still there. I should reach out again. That was a long time ago, that job with him. But I'm trying to think who are the sort of younger Richard Bransons? I'm a big fan of, a guy called Gary Vaynerchuk, VaynerMedia. He's a bit of a young Richard Branson. He's all about brand. He's got his own media company and he's a bit of a rock star in the social media world. I'd love to do something with him. But the other things, we do quite a lot of charity work and that is amazing. That's credible. So we used to have a partnership in Australia with the Cerebral Palsy Alliance, writing songs with kids from there. We did a lot with Indigenous kids in Australia called AIM, which is the Australian Indigenous Mentoring Experience. anything around disadvantaged kids. When I first moved here, I built a partnership with Teenage Cancer Trust, running kids suffering or recovering from cancer. So they're like a whole nother level of just, it's emotional amazingness. I don't care who I deal with. I just freaking love it. And as long as they're loving it, I don't care. Yeah, as long as people are into it. 5 people in a famous recording studio. Biggest group I've done is 11,000, a big arena sales kickoff. As long as people are into it, I'm in.
And have you written a SongDivision? Does SongDivision have a song?
We're writing one.
But you can write it now and play it now.
I was going to write I was thinking a quick H&H song.
Oh, excellent.
And what would you say your core offering is? Internal comms?
Yeah, internal comms, employee engagement, but we're all about inciting brilliance in the world of work.
That's a perfect line. Inciting brilliance in the world of work.
We're all about being bold, being curious, and making it count. This is an in the moment creative.
The problem with work is I can only ever think of twerk. It's
do you know what? I think the H&H's would be up for a bit of twerking. I don't think you need to worry about that.
Okay. So I would ask you all these questions and then get you to sit with your colleagues and create a 4-line poem, and then we would share all of those poems.
This is really putting you to the test now. I apologise.
Okay, here we go.
Fantastic.
This is literally an 8-line song, by the way, but it's all I could do. H&H, internal comms, well, I just helped them write this song. Inciting brilliance in the world of work. I heard they don't mind a cheeky twerk. Being bold, curious, and making it count. That's what H&H is all about. They got purpose, they got vision. So come on, work with them in SongDivision.
Brilliant, well done.
I've done this before.
Yeah, you've obviously been put on the spot before. Thank you for that, Sam. That was amazing.
Welcome. You're welcome. Thank you. This has been fun.
Thank you very much for joining me today. That's been amazing. It's lovely to hear about SongDivision, all the exciting things that you're up to.
You are so welcome, Cathy. Thank you for having me. I will see you when I see you. And until then, remember, life is better with music.
Fantastic. Thank you, Sam. Take care.
You're welcome. Bye for now.
Well, that's it for this edition. Thank you so much for joining us. And if you'd like to keep in touch with all things Insight Brilliance, please like and subscribe, and we'll make sure that the latest version is dropped straight into your inbox. Thank you.
Insight Brilliance, brought to you by H&H.